Hello, welcome to another Geography podcast with myself, Mr. Baxter.
And me, Mr. Allsopp.
Today's topic we're going to be doing about the growth of cities, particularly in poor countries, which obviously links nicely with our key case study, which is Mumbai in India. So then, sir, do you live in the city, or
Not
would you
really.
say countryside, more of a country lad?
More of a suburb. Does that count?
Yeah, good keyword. Started off strong. Why do you reckon most of the developing world wants to live in cities?
Well, from a historical perspective, jobs. Industrial revolution, all jobs came about in the cities, and then everybody moved there.
They did, and this sort of industrialisation is happening all across the developing world now.
Right, just sort of a couple of 100 years later.
So what we're seeing are things called pull factors, and jobs is the main one.
Type of jobs, maybe?
Yeah, there's a greater variety.
Yeah.
Or what about what we're all after? What we're in jobs for?
What, money?
Money, excellent.
And self-value, okay, if you're a teacher.
Well, for me and you, that goes without saying, but the money doesn't half help.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Helps us
Buy
survive.
plenty new waistcoats.
Exactly.
So what we're seeing in India then is a lot of people that live out in the countryside.
Yeah.
They're either fed up of that lifestyle or they have no choice but they have to leave. Now that's either because there's been a natural disaster like a drought. Say they're on a farm, they have a drought, crops are going to die, they can't sustain themselves, or they're attracted by the bright lights of cities.
Well, who wouldn't be?
You know, if you're realising, if your farmer friends have left previous years and now you're hearing how much money they're on and how good their lives are, you're going to be enticed, aren't you?
Essentially, you've got two different worlds, haven't you? You've got a world that's living in the past with old traditions and simple technologies.
Living off the land,
simple technologies, and then futuristic world in the city with, like you say, big bright lights and new opportunities.
So you're going to go, aren't you?
Well, yeah, of course.
Definitely. And lots of people do. So you've got the big state in India called the Maharashtra state, and lots of people do exactly that. They leave their farms and they head towards the big city in that area, which is Mumbai. Every single day, roughly 500 people also make that same journey.
Every day?
Every day, 500 people.
So about as many go to Oldham White School?
Yeah. Now, they're all after the same thing. They're all after jobs, but what else do you think they're after?
Social interaction?
Yeah, they're after everything. They're after, I guess, something to spend their money on.
Yeah.
But I guess, even more primitive, place to live.
Well,
Good
housing,
school,
yeah.
good hospital.
Yeah.
We often forget. So all these factors are there and they're enticed by it. They get there and guess what they realise?
Not all rosy.
It's not
The
all
grass
rosy.
is not greener.
It's certainly not. No,
Right.
the environment is a mess. Hundreds of people pretty much every month die because the air quality is really bad. But there was an interesting story, I think last year, factory that was making jeans, obviously using lots of blue dye to wash the jeans. They actually got rid of all their waste and just dumped it in the river, the Mithi River. And that was found out because loads of stray dogs went bathing in the river,
Came out
bright blue.
Did they
At least you'll know where it
Did
is.
they feel blue as well?
Maybe they will. A terrible joke. You just transfer the poverty from the countryside to the city. Now, the best parts of the city are already built on, and people are living there and living good lives. You've just arrived in Mumbai. You're going to have to go somewhere. So you end up going to what's called a slum, an illegal settlement. And in Mumbai, you've got one called the Dharavi slum, which is one of the biggest slums in the world. And roughly, there's about 1 million people that live there. And it's an odd one because normally a slum, sometimes people see pictures of them living in Brazil, and they're like stuck on hillsides.
Yeah.
Very precariously.
It looks like they're going to fall off.
Yeah, definitely. And often, a lot of them do collapse. In Mumbai, though, the Dharavi slum is quite interesting because it actually starts very close to the centre of Mumbai. And then it sort of works its way out. It's sort of wedged between train lines and sewage pipes, which funnels in, but it goes right into the city centre. And downtown Mumbai, actually, there's loads of opportunities, loads of jobs. Have you heard of, I never know how to say this, depends how posh you are, it's either Tata Steel or Tata Steel.
Tartar Steel.
We're going to go for Tata Steel.
Why not? And I'm not posh.
You are posh.
It's Tartar Steel.
We'll go Tata Steel. Because they've got a plant actually in Wales, so some people might have heard.
Yeah.
So that's a big Indian company that also has its headquarters, its Asian headquarters in Mumbai, so loads of jobs. There's also call centres from banks like HSBC and BT have call centres there. Do you know the name of the film industry in Mumbai?
Bollywood.
Well done. That's
Everyone
the second
knows
biggest one in the
Bollywood.
world after
Hollywood.
You do know your stuff.
I know,
Excellent. We've not rehearsed this at all. So there are what we call opportunities, and the exam board love to use that word. Assess the opportunities. So we do have to say actually there are good things there. There are lots of schools in Mumbai. There are big public hospitals. However, There's way too many people coming in.
They're limited. The opportunities are limited.
They are limited, yeah. They just can't keep up with demand. So let's say you're one of the unfortunate ones. You've got there late. You haven't really got the skills to do a great deal of stuff. So you're going to have to live, unfortunately, in the slum. Now, you're going to have a toilet.
Is it going to be a flushing toilet?
If you're lucky.
If
you're lucky.
Oh,
maybe just throw it out your window.
yeah, over some unsuspecting bystander.
Yeah, apparently there's good community spirit in these places, but
Right.
if we're all throwing feces out the window, is that how you make friends? Maybe it is.
Maybe that becomes a tradition.
Maybe it is. Yeah. Maybe.
Culture.
Maybe you just know the certain times,
Yeah.
to put your umbrella up. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, but in the Dharavi slum, there are some advantages.
But what do they do?
Good question. Recycling. There's loads of rubbish dumps, and
Right.
they're taking out the plastic and recycling it. Or there's lots of what's called informal work, sort of cash in hand work, where they might leave the slum to go further into Mumbai, and they might just, when there's traffic jams, they might have a bucket and a sponge and they might wash cars and then beg for money. Or they might clean people's shoes at the side of the road and then hope that they give some money in return. And lots of small factories, whether sort of making food or making parts of like suitcases and stuff like that, all gets done in the slum. They just don't package it as made in Dharavi, otherwise no one would buy it or no one would eat it. But they just say made in Mumbai. Everyone seems happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are they going to do with the slum then? Because, like I said, right in the middle of Mumbai, the land is really expensive. A great fact is the world's most expensive house is built in Mumbai, downtown Mumbai. Mr. Ambani, who is India's richest man, and he has got floors for his servants, he's got a floor just for a cinema, he's got an indoor park. It's ridiculous.
One day we'll be there. These podcasts take off.
You never know if anyone's actually listening.
Like
to
Del
them.
Boy and Rodney.
Yeah. And I guess what highlights how rich he was, for his daughter's wedding, he got Beyonce to sing.
Right, so that's a few mil.
Yeah, 100 million.
100 million?
Estimated. If you want Beyonce at your wedding, I got married recently and I got a mate to do the
Beyonce.
guitar. So, not quite in the same league, are we?
No.
Anyway, but we've all got dreams and aspirations. So, they want to get rid of this slum because it's an eyesore, it's illegal by definition. It shouldn't have been built there, but they weren't quite regulated or didn't have enough force at the time. So, they want to change it. They want to say, we could just bulldoze the whole slum and just say, right, off you go, find somewhere else to live. But the problem is that it is all the poverty and I guess all the anger that would bring, it would just spread it over the city. So you don't want that.
Just creating more problems, essentially.
Most definitely. So instead of thinking, why don't we just build high-rise tower blocks, basically? Problem with that, you are somehow going to have to prove that you've lived in that slum for a number of years to get an apartment in the new
And
tower.
how are you going to do that?
How are you going to do that?
In an illegal, unofficial slum.
I don't know. They'll probably come with a clipboard, knock on your slum one day if you've got a door, and say, "Excuse me, how long have you lived here?" And then as long as you lie, you'll be fine. As long as you do it convincingly. Well, this is the plan. Now, people are saying actually this is a good thing because these apartments look like they're going to have running water, looks like they're going to have decent sanitation.
Somewhere good to live.
Negatives, like I said, there's no guarantee you'll live there at all. You might not get a place. You might also not have that community spirit because your extended family that maybe are your neighbours or indeed live in your house may not be there as well, which we have to factor in.
Yeah.
So that's Mumbai in the Dharavi slum.
Interesting stuff.
There we are. So, has that enticed you to live in the city?
Not in a slum.
Not
Not if there's a slum involved, no.
Not in the slum, nice. Well, that's goodbye for me.
And goodbye from me.